Please. Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. On behalf of Goa branch of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, I congratulate Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji on presenting her 9th budget, which is a reform-led growth budget. In her Trisutri Kartavya that she mentioned about accelerating and sustaining economic growth, fulfilling aspirations of people by increasing their capacity, and Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas towards Vikasit Bharat by all having access to resources. All the these three Sutri programs or the intent of the budget have been by providing various sectors of the Indian economy by providing them structural reforms, robust financial systems, by providing them with cutting edge technology and skilling of the manpower. So in all, this has been the crux, or this has been the focus of the budget this year. Now, as far as Goa is concerned, already as has been mentioned, Goa can take a lot from the initiatives that have been provided for the tourism sectors, fisheries sectors, medical tourism especially, then orange economy as has already been mentioned. Another very important part is where Finance Minister has recognized the capability of India as the service provider or the exporters of service providers. So there has been a lot of focus as far as that is concerned. Already, as has been discussed regarding MSMEs, a lot of focus has been MSME, championing of the MSMEs through equity support, through liquidity support, through trades portal. That is also one area where the members of the institute and the institute can provide a great support to the MSMEs by partnering the government in their corporate mitra programs and providing the necessary compliance support and skilling of the MSMEs. As far as the technology, as far as the Income Tax Act is concerned, or the direct tax proposals were concerned, there was not much expected, especially on the backdrop of the new Income Tax Act that is being implemented from 1/4/26. But however, there are still some changes that are mentioned by the Finance Minister. One majorly being the TCS on the overseas tour package, and also on the education and the medical expenses that are being undertaken abroad, which have been reduced. I also overheard there is some rationalization on TCS on alcoholic liquor, which is also mentioned, which may also be a big gain for the Goa. Also, there are some benefits which are also being given to the small taxpayers, where the nil deduction certificates will be automated, which otherwise would have been a very cumbersome process. As far as the assessments and the procedural aspects of the Income Tax Acts are concerned, there have been some revisions. One majorly being the revised return time limit for the revised returns have been extended by 3 months from 31st December to 31st March of the financial year. Also, there has been now a segregation of the income tax return filing. Earlier there were only 2 due dates, one was 31st July and 31st September for non-audit and audit cases respectively. Now there are 3 which have been mentioned. One is 31st July, then there will be 31st July for basically salaried and the other income earners. Then there will be 31st August for non-audit business cases and the trust, as has been mentioned. And then again there would be 31st September would be the due date, 30th September would be the due date for the audit cases. Also, there are big takeaways as far as the non-residents procedural aspects are concerned, where instead of a 10-based TDS filing return for the sale of a property, it would again be a PAN-based system, which is a much easier process for the non-resident. Also, there have been some schemes as far as the overseas non-disclosure of overseas assets and income disclosure are concerned. So One more very important thing as far as the appeals part of the Income Tax Act is concerned, where you need to prepay 20% of the disputed amount for filing of the appeals with the Income Tax Department. That has been also now reduced to 10%. So all in all, there are a lot of takeaways from the direct tax proposal point of view, although not much was expected. So there has been a lot of simplification and betterment in terms of rationalization of TCS rates, as well as the procedural aspects of the income tax concern, and benefits of which we will see in the upcoming event. On behalf of the Institute and Goa branch of ICI, I congratulate Finance Minister on this very growth-centric and a very reform-centric budget that she has presented today. Thank you.
This is a budget which is sort of progressive and going to leverage the strengths of the budget. Now, for example, for promoting MSMEs, the focus is on now creating MSME champions. They have announced a rupees 10,000 growth fund to promote MSME sector. There is also a lot of focus on creating infrastructure, focus on creating industrial corridors along the east coast, developing dedicated freight corridors from east to west, developing waterways, developing institutions for developing proposal to restructure the Power Finance Corporation. 200 legacy industrial clusters will be removed, will be sort of revived. 7 high-speed rail corridors to be developed, and rupees 20,000 crores is being allocated to develop waterways. I think all these are going to create a strong infrastructure in our economy, which will help to sustain the growth. It's a very good budget. For Goa, I think now government has announced in the budget they are going to, for example, support high cash value crops around the coastal region, specifically cashew and coconuts. They have also talked about, so that is a very important, thing for Goa. Goa is also very strong in cashew nut and coconut, which has been stagnant for many years, but with the help of a double engine government, I am confident, I hope, I expect Goa government will leverage the announcement of the union government and reap some benefits for coconut and cashew nut farming in Goa. Medical tourism is another very important announcement, and Goa should now move into high value added tourism instead of the current tourism, which is sort of leading to over tourism. So this kind, so we expect and we are confident that the Goa government will also work closely with the Indian government to also promote medical tourism in our state. It's a very good announcement, but the Goa government should capitalize on it.
Last year budgetचा गोव्याला काय फायदा झाला होता? Last year budgetचा overall observation करून यावेळेचं budget कसं होतं?
So I think the kind of biggest benefit that we got for the last year's budget was relating to the limit of 12 lakhs. The basic exemption limit was taken to 12 lakhs. Because we are in Goa and there is a section 5A, because we are also governed by the Portuguese civil code, this limit automatically becomes double for Goa. So this was a great benefit where a lot of people did not have to pay the kind of taxes which they were paying in the previous years, which meant that the income remained in their hands, which they could use for consumption, which they could use for education. This was a great kind of a proposal which has really benefited Goa from the last year.
And one more point was that there was a Krushi Yojana which the central government has launched in the last budget, and we have taken it up with the central government, and it was launched I think in Madgaon around 8 months back in Madgaon. So more funds have come for the development of agriculture in Goa. So that was one more advantage.
One more announcement made in the budget which has significance for Goa is to promote fishery industry along the coastal region. So Goa has a lot of potential to benefit from this announcement and the focus of the government. And they have also announced that the customs duty-free import for fishery industry will be allowed, and the limit will be raised from 1% to 3% of the FOB value. Up to that much you can now increase without paying any duty. So for Goa, the focus on medical tourism, the focus on coconuts, cashew nuts, the focus on fisheries is very, very attractive and very significant.
Secretary and the chairman of the Taxation Committee of Goa Chamber of Commerce and Industry. There was a lot of anticipation for these budgets, especially looking at the kind of global uncertainties. And we're seeing that there are a lot of positives in this budget. This budget is known as a Reform Express, and the entire we really welcome this budget because this budget has focused on a lot of factors, especially one relating to reducing the kind of import dependency and championing the MSMEs. As you know, MSMEs are the growth drivers of our economy, and there has also been a very good focus on the MSMEs. One of the ways they have done it is that they have given a lot of focus to TREDS, which is the Trade Receivable Management System. So in this, what happens is whenever MSMEs can enroll on this platform, and they do not have to wait for the funds to be received from the buyer. There is a discounting kind of a method in which they are able to receive the funds much in advance. Now we are seeing that there has been a lot of developments there. The first development is that they have said that as far as the central PSUs who are there, who will be buying from the MSMEs, it is compulsory for them to purchase only from the TREDS platform. This will mean that there will be more money in the hands of the MSMEs, and there will not be any kind of a liquidity crunch. Second, what they have also done is they have tried to integrate the GEMS portal, which is used for purchasing and buying, again, which is a government initiative, and they have tried to integrate it with the TREDS mechanism. The third one is that they have said that the TREDS, whatever receivables will be there, they will be also be termed as asset-backed securities, which means that you will also be able to get more kind of credit facilities on these kind of trade receivables. And fourth, they have also they have also said that now we can take help of professionals like the company secretaries, the chartered accountants, and who will be termed as corporate mitras, who will be able to transition the MSMEs and educate the MSMEs. So this is a fantastic move as far as the MSMEs are concerned. As far as taxation is concerned, there is a very great initiative for the tourism sector, which I believe will be really helpful for Goa. As we are aware that for tourism, whenever you are buying any tour packages, there is a TCS involved, which is the tax collected at source, which was at 5%. This again used to become a big cash flow crunch, especially for the people who would like to take the tour packages, because this would mean that you have to pay certain taxes upfront, and then at the time of your return, this amounts would either be adjusted or you would get a refund based on your computation. This is a great boost to the tourism industry that they have reduced this TCS, which would mean that now there will be more surplus funds with the people to invest in the kind of tour packages, which will again promote the tourism industry. Similar kind of TCS limits, TCS rates have been reduced even for foreign education and foreign medical expenses, which is a great step. We are also seeing one of the other major step is that in a lot of places where there is a TAN number which is being used, they have now shifted to a PAN, especially whenever there is any kind of a purchasing of a property of a non-resident. So there were certain administrative hurdles for getting the TAN. Now they have said that you can use the PAN. Again, as far as EODB again has been a cornerstone of all the budgets, and this budget again has not been any different. Especially here, especially for custom duty, they are planning to have a kind of a digital window for kind of cargo clearances, which will help in more seamless cargo clearances from the customs. Again, there have been a lot of rationalization of rates. So again, really looking forward for the kind of implementation of this budget, and the Goa Chamber looks forward to working with the central government and the state government to implement the schemes of the union budget.
Really congratulate the finance minister and the government is for very sound and prudent overall fiscal management of the country. They have been able to bring down the fiscal deficit to 4.4% for the financial year 26-27. It's a very good step, and it's very important. The government is fiscally very conservative, very pragmatic, and they've indicated next year the budget, the fiscal deficit will go down to 4.3%. So that's very good. So the fiscal management is also very strong, very sound, and very, very safe. I congratulate the government for that.
In fact, this budget is a takeaway from the past budgets where she focused, the finance minister focused on the growth strategy, development strategy. And this budget also will focus on achieving the goals of Vikasit Bharat 2047. And in that matter, they have given overall placement of funds to all the sectors, right from health, education, infrastructure, tourism, and most important is, there are many schemes which have been launched and the reforms will continue to happen. Decriminalization of archaic laws will continue to happen. This will bring in ease of administration, ease of business, and also, bring in more investments in the country. Now, as far as Goa is concerned, we need to capitalize on all the schemes that have been mentioned. Especially, there are many areas where, like for example, tourism, building up on iconic structures, building up on upscaling of the youths, training them which is a need of the day, because we need our youths to be trained to project the right way of our culture, our traditions to the people who visit to Goa. And I think these schemes will help our state also to come to terms and deliver the goods in the right manner. So on and all, this budget will definitely point towards the upscaling of our economy to a next level, and which also in the form of they have additional money in their hands, so which they can try to capitalize by building up the infrastructure of the country, and which will help the country to progress. So we welcome it wholeheartedly.
We have to understand, as I'm Dr. Sangam Kurade, from the Goa point, from the India point of view, of course, as my esteemed members have already said, but we have to understand, last year government allowed around 12 lakh rupees, I think, per person. It freed up the income. This year, the income tax, they have not tinkered with the personal income tax. So as a result, the consumption has gone up, and we are seeing a 7% or 7.4% growth in the Indian GDP. So inflation is still at 2.5%, which is very good. And by driving up consumption is how we are improving the Indian economy. Coming to Goa centric, some of the points have already been elaborated. Tourism using seaplanes is, I think, for the inland tourism is a plus. I think 5 regional medical hubs they already mentioned. Upgrading of urban areas, almost 50,000 crore per CR over 5 years, including some temple towns. Coastal cargo movement, I think some a lot of details are yet to come. So we need to see the details, but coastal cargo movement. In health, youth upskilling, so I think few health hospitals here can utilize. Now, a lot depends on private enterprise trying to take use of these schemes which the government is putting out there. High value agriculture, coconut, cashew nut, Bharat Vistar scheme, where AI in agriculture through ICR that can be used. Fisheries has already been mentioned, and yes, National Institute of Hospitality, which will upgrade the existing hotel management institute in Goa. That is a great possibility. Another mention I had just heard was orange economy. Now, many of us may not know what orange economy stands. Basically, it's culture, music, tourism, and that kind of area. That is a great area where Goa per se can utilize the orange economy, which can build up the Goan economy per se. Thank you.
Yes. Good afternoon, I'm Yatin Kakurkar, Vice President, Goa Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We have just heard the Union Budget presented by our Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. On behalf of Goa Chamber of Commerce and Industry, I would like to congratulate the Finance Minister for presenting a budget which is focused on economic development, growth, and achieving the goal of Viksit Bharat by 2047. It's a very progressive budget. It is a budget which is very confident budget, which recognizes that India has now arrived on a sustainable growth rate. In previous years, our growth rate was less than 6%, but now in the last couple of years, we have achieved a growth rate of 7% plus. And this budget exudes the confidence that we are going to maintain this growth rate. I fully commend and appreciate the focus of the budget on infrastructure development, on capacity building, on recognizing the MSME sector as a very vital engine of growth of India's economy. I also appreciate and commend that the budget has realized that the cities can be engines of growth also. So far the focus has been on states, but we are taking this one step ahead by recognizing that cities also are engines of growth. I also, the focus on tourism is also to be supported and lauded, because for too long India has sort of underutilized its tourism potential while our neighbors in other countries have fully leveraged that tourism potential. The budget recognizes that tourism is a very important sector of the economy and has taken announced a lot of steps in this budget to support tourism.
Parag, President of All Law Tax Practitioners Association. Now this first budget from Kartavya Bhavan, presented by Honorable Nirmala Sitharaman. I congratulate her. Now, as far as this budget is concerned, the projected GDP growth is around 6.8 to 7.2%. Even though the spelled out fiscal deficit is 4.4, it is targeted at 4.3%. Then there are this reinforces micro stability. Then overall 25 budget was provided for broad-based relief, and this has been continued in this 26 budget. TCS has been reduced on foreign remittances for travel, education, and medical purposes. Then again, some notable changes. New scheme for small taxpayers to simplify. The income tax has been made more easy, the procedural part particularly. Tax deduction limit for senior citizens on interest income doubled to rupees 1 lakh. That is a major take. Then the targets for GST from 25.20 lakh crores in financial year 26. It has been increased. It has been increased to 25.20 lakh crore from 22.37 lakh crore. That is a big takeaway. Thank you.
Income Tax Act is coming into, it's a simplified act.
Yes.
So till now both acts, I think both the old edition and the new edition were enforced. But
Yes.
now I think it will be only new edition.
Absolutely.
So how it would be for common man, how it would be benefit?
Yeah. So as far as the new income tax 2025 is concerned, it's going to be it will now be implemented from the 1st of April 2026. This is more in a simplified language. So, there were certain kind of languages which were a little bit more legal, more technical. They would try to make it a much more simplified kind of a version. And now what would happen is, as the finance minister has also announced, now the forms, the returns, which are applicable for the new act are now going to be implemented. So now there will be a transition from the old act to the new act. And we are really looking forward for this kind of an implementation.
GCCI recommendations or asks of that GCCI have been met.
Yeah, no, the GCCI welcomes the kind of proposals, because GCCI had given recommendations to the finance ministry more on the kind of ease of doing business, more on the kind of simplicity of the kind of returns. So we are really happy that a lot of our recommendations relating to the EODB and relating to custom duties again has been taken up. We really look forward to the implementation of these.